seen in the last few years?
I haven't seen too many, but to me, you're going to measure it in small things. Like, you know, when Bingo came out that day, he that was a victory more than I can describe, you know, for him. On a bigger scale, you could say that the fact that a few of us have been able to force this, and I'm not saying, you know, it's interesting when you say a lot of these things happen around the country. I'm not claiming that what I've done is even primarily responsible for what's happened, but what I've discovered for some unknown reason, and maybe you can answer this, but I've gone past a line which most Canadians don't want to cross, and that line is that it's fine to talk about aberrant priests. It's fine to talk about child sexual abuse and physical abuse in the schools. It's not fine to say that the institutions that we revere are responsible. It's not fine to say that we need a new arrangement. And this is what I'm going to talk about that too. This is from Kanawake territory. It's called the Two-Road Walk. The original treaty that existed on this land between the whites and natives. Yes. But what I can say is that a few of us have forced the issue, and that is an amazing victory, because I didn't think 10 years ago it would ever be talked about, that children died in residential school. I've seen that if you persist, it doesn't matter how many of you are, if you know what's true and you persist, you can move mountains. And that's proven. I mean, I had no funding. I've been blacklisted for 10 years. I've just lived on how the community supports me. And despite what you might hear on the United Church website, I'm not. Yeah, so that to me is a message I have to share with my people, because it's so easy for all of us to give up when you look at the enormity of what we're up against. But it's an illusion, is what I found. They don't really have that power. That's why they rely on fear to keep people in line. So to me, the victory is when more and more people are seeing through that, and in general.
On the topic of the child trafficking industry that we've created, in Ottawa, they distribute this pamphlet at the court clinic. It's been approved by a board of lawyers, and it's funded by the Ontario government. The stickers on the back. And on page 7, it says, children say that the CAF can take your child at birth if there are significant concerns for child safety. And then they list what they consider considerable concerns, and amongst them are if you ever had your children removed before, if you have a serious drug and alcohol problem, if you're homeless or live in an unsafe environment, or you were a teen mom, especially if you were ever in the care of the CAF. And I'm working with a case right now, a old 18 in the hospital. Never any opportunity to demonstrate what she could or couldn't do. And just 15 minutes after the baby was born, the social worker told her that's the CAF baby. Right in the face.
Oh gosh.
We're making some headway, but there's 10 hardcore activists backing her up. And she takes everything. She's protesting, and so on. But it's still not 100% sure that she's going to. It's been 10 months, 11 months. Yeah.
Because it starts related into the causes of child to have problems with the heart. So the next one that she's done up is really important. But due to the stress from CAS coming for so long, for the first one, then she's been rewarded, as I can say.
She's pregnant again now.
She's pregnant again right now, and then she just went for an ultrasound and just found out today that the kid's heart is pumped in 2 different ways. Their blood's supposed to be going in a certain way, they're crossing. And she doesn't want to have an abortion, she wants a kid back. Okay, this is a mother has a right to have a kid.
Very deep pockets. The courts cooperate with them in all sorts of pockets. And there's always a presumption, well, you must take something. They wouldn't take my child for no reason. And there's no reason. And there's been no reason to continue. But she's stable, she's focused, she's motivated, she's got a good place to live, she's got all the facilities,
They tried to call her delayed because she's French spoken before English and she has an accent.
That's been rectified, that's been rectified. So they were basically trying to make it fake, by telling her the ridiculous, and all the details of it.
Do you guys have a website or something documenting all this?
She's starting to, she has, she put up Facebook.
What's her name?
She put it under a pseudonym, Ariel. So A-R-E-I-L. A-L-O-R-E. And she put up a group as well, Teen Play Basketball. And she's protesting at the court on Wednesday, and at the day of Black.
People should come out and support it.
Yeah, Mr. Restock is really good community.
Would you be sure to sign this after? There's a conflict connected with it. See, one of the things we're doing, we have a website,
You can have a copy, because every time I go to the board, I take it first.
We have a website now, itccs.org, and we want to document all these things so that the patterns can be traced. Because in Vancouver, it's definitely farming of children. They find moms and they farm their kids.
Yeah.
And
well, that's what this is saying. If you were in children's aid, that's their property. Your child is their property.
Okay, that's
what they're saying. And they've done that for years, but I'm so stunned that they put it in pamphlet and passed it out as a legal guideline.
Have you asked a lawyer about that? Because you see,
that's from the family court clinic, and they have a board of lawyers that have to approve every piece of information that's put out there. So they don't have any sign that says, "Oh, this information doesn't reflect" or whatever. It's there as information. It's like the duty council for family law, right? It's right in the courthouse. It's up on the shelf.
My understanding, and one of the ways that disbarred lawyer told me about this, because he tried going up against this and they went after him. He said, you register anything and it's the government's. You register a car and they can seize it. You register your child at birth, they can seize it.
That's
the mark.
That's what I'm saying. Even their own rationale now, they're leaving aside even their own rules now. Well, why is that? Okay.
No, I don't think it matters either way.
I know, yeah.
Well, they're farmers. They're farmers. They think of her as property and they are farmers.
Once they mark it, it's property.
They deliberately infest the child's file when they're in jail with all kinds of ludicrous things, including diagnosis by youth home staff, and then they use that. I'll just give you one and I'll stop. In the court documentation for this girl, one of the paragraphs in there said the children's aid worker got a call from a community worker who wishes to remain anonymous, and she reports that somebody else called her and said that this woman lived in a small apartment that was such in disarray that there was dishes in the bathtub and she couldn't take a shower. Okay. And they put that in an affidavit form and put it in the court, and the court accepts that.
They're calling for references.
Hearsay.
Yeah. Well, that's
and they're going to keep it based on double anonymous hearsay.
I know that's the norm in Vancouver. I used to hear this a lot from Native families, but more and more white families as well go through this, where you criminalize, it's like in family court, you criminalize one parent. You criminalize children at a young age, and then later you can take them like that.
That's what they do.
There's no rational requirement. So.
Well, I don't know these